sir. Yes, sir. Oh, my goodness. Yes, sir. What's over here? You catching it when they come in? Let me unlock it. Hold on. All right? Because I think it's when it's supposed to rain. It's supposed to rain. Well, it looks a little clear now. Wow. No, sticking your nose in it. Hey, don't play around, boy. I'm gonna leave it unlocked, all right? See that? Turd here. Water in there, bro. That one upstairs right here. Go on. Right there. Got some soil in here, man. Wow. Get him over, get him over. Good. Let's put this right here, okay? Carrots and Brussels sprouts and all that stuff in there. You jumping around like a damn grasshopper. Okay, what? Huh? You okay, Papa? Huh? What is that? Al, what you got? What is it, Bubba? I don't kill the damn thing. Put it back outside. Come on. There's enough time for killing. Not now. Right? Tired of telling you that. Don't look at me like you retarded. Fresh water, Papa. Let me see, Jail, what's going on, guys? I'm not notifying nobody today. They come, they don't. He be running into this thing. I get his little zoomies on. He be knocking it down. Watermelon, guys. It's my first meal. I got a vegetable medley roasting in the oven. We'll start here shortly. Y'all have good exercise today? You'll get out there and walk, run, whatever. Yeah, I went ahead and ran a mile. I gotta be careful on this left knee, both knees actually. Well, I don't need knee replacement. They're strong. There's damage. You know what I mean? In order from the hill, you gotta exercise, but you gotta be smart. You know. These rinds, I'm juicing. Excuse me. It's so freaking good. It is so good. So you are aware. The talk is about Hawaii. I didn't share it on here. I've been sharing it for the last 4 or 5 days. Not all. It's a certain place. And there's curators and people who live out there, you know, been out there 10, 12 years, and they're speaking. It's kind of like whistleblowing, but not being part of the agenda to say what's known about tsunamis and hurricanes and stuff. That tsunamis and hurricanes don't create the firestorm that you see. This is man-made. It seems like everywhere the United States corporation, all right, you want to call it secret under military, like all the warehouse blowing up and stuff. And what's sad is, this is why I speak about pale skins and all the people I do, because you people walk around like you're the greatest thing compared to sliced bread, and you ain't done shit. I give kudos to England. Them woods out there on our ancestors' soil over there, and they're patrolling. They're patrolling with ex-Royal Marines and MI, yeah. And so them people had to back up off of some of their operations. Unlike France, with all these French foreign legionnaires who have started in secret, going in units and patrolling the streets, and they've been whooping people's ass over there. So you Africans and Arabs and people who went over there based upon the French Secret Service who worked with Britain and American Secret Service, I'm gonna say something about here that they probably aware of now, but I'm gonna say something also. They've been patrolling the streets and whooping people's ass over there. So a lot of y'all going, France is falling and all. Here in America, so-called America, the only problem, the hardest problem we have other than dumbass racists are liberal-minded states. And the niggas in those states who keep following these sorry niggas, I think are foreign interlopers. Kind of look like you, but aren't you? But then you follow me on TikTok. You've seen the little videos I put up. No swearing in it like that. On Instagram, I've just been posting stuff, videos and stuff. I haven't really done a live or anything in a little while over there. Facebook, I'm just tired of the conundrum I see on there. It's like a straight up, it's like a snafu, situation normal, all F-U, you know, or foobar, F'd up beyond all reality. And the reality is, as socially pathetic as it is, you would feel that some of the people would see it, and they don't. They're speaking as if there's no humbleness, no meekness. I'm sorry, this is so good, y'all. Oh my goodness. They're speaking as if they're doing it through due diligence, as if they are the smartest pieces walking the earth. All they have done is ascertain information of their ancestral heritage, if it is, and taking it on a walkabout. They have decided to open the closet door and stand in its midst and profess and claim all that which precede them. That's arrogance. That's narcissism in the melanated community that is beyond culpable. I don't recognize them. And when I don't recognize them, that's a problem. But see, some of these people, I've seen them on other platforms, and I know what they were pushing and talking about. And when they were talking about it. Like I said, I watch everybody. When I was telling people that so-and-so was a police officer, so-and-so he used to work with the feds, they were going, no, they weren't. Now it's like, oh, wow. Rose Angel, Hitman, I'm like, what do y'all do? I'm not beating up on nobody. I'm only asking, what do y'all really do? Other than accept who you are, plausibly, and then run like crazy, sharing a whole lot of information. A lot of the Mongols have a problem because they think that the little fake history they've had for a little century and a half to 2 centuries that they've been permitted by a fake-ass U.S. corporation, to which our people accepted about 40 years ago. 40, yeah, most, not all. And that's why they started putting U.S. Corp on a lot of stuff, the post office, this, that, and other, to which it's not supposed to be there. They're not supposed to be incorporated. Anywho, can't make this stuff up, man. You just can't make this stuff up. Anyway, the Mongols, and the reason why I like traveling overseas, because I would, I told y'all about Kiel, Germany, the young lady got an real old, young adult, older adult. I was 19, so that tells you how old he is. Anyway, that sweet German woman, mulatto, whatever you want to call it, her genes go way back to the original inhabitants. You ought to see the pictures in their big 20-something bedroom house. Anyway, she's a wonderful person. I used to go to all the museums. I don't care if it was Stockholm over in Wichita, or if it was in Kiel, if it was wherever. The sex museums cracked me up in Amsterdam and Holland. But anyway, I would go to all the museums, and the first thing I wanted to go do is what do y'all have on America? They had a plethora in Europe. This is why I say they know. France too, and Spain. Even South America, they got the shit too. So when you hear one of these little Spanish motherfuckers telling you, yeah, from Africa, they're probably American born. As far as the label of this Ashkenazi fake ass name, Athanel, I call it. Okay? always went and looked, and I'm seeing porcelain statues. I'm seeing even some of the tobacco that I grew up seeing in all these damn stores. Yes, everywhere, Montclair, everywhere. These idiots, I don't know how they come. I'm from Africa, and yet, right where we all grew up, they had in front of these damn tobacco stores and stuff like that. Because they had the nigga engine, tobacco, pipes, right there, made mostly in Holland. Some from Germany and France. Lady Liberty is not a lady, it's a nigga. Anyway, we're going to leave that alone. Because you know they're caught up in their pronouns now, okay? Excuse my French. All I saw was us. Every museum, the statues were the most fabulous porcelain little America. I have it, you know, and I'm sitting in Edinburgh, Scotland, and I'm like, and so, you know, I would tell people, man, go to that museum. Now, some of the woods be like, I ain't going over there. We was told not to go over there. But the ones that did come back, nah, these are the original people. I don't know who them people is in the movies. I'm telling you, I got people on server who know who we are, man. All right. They still stationed, they still live in Florida and Georgia, Louisiana. We have one of these little Mongols on somebody's post tried to debunk this picture, right? Didn't know I was watching. We're going to get this read on. I want to show you this. They tried to say this was a picture of an African. And it was fake and this, that, and other. So I'm going to show you the original picture. And I'm going to show you what they did. Okay? I'm going to pull it up. Now, Alamy is the original pictures. Are y'all aware of that? Okay. Let me see if I can do it this way. Oh, it doesn't want to rotate now. Oh, there we go. So this picture right here is Alamy stock. This is the original. This is South America. Now, this is for us little goofy Mexican. It's probably going to not no indigenous blood in them at all. That's the original one. Let me show you again. Maybe I did that too fast. I'm getting notifications here. My apologies. Alamy stock. As an artist, you know, like I know, a lot of us use Alamy stock pictures because we want to be as close to the original as possible. Now I want to give you and that watermelon's good. I really don't want to stop eating. Now I'm going to give you the pixelated change. Now they tried to say this is Alamy, but it's a changed pixelated picture, and it's easy to tell. But this right here is the fake one. Anybody that knows the history here, there were different shades of people, but people alluded to do different things. Now, why am I saying this? Because I'm going to show you another one. Let me see if I can pull it up somewhere here. And that's the artist on this land that's doing this stuff. I don't know if I'm going to pull up the whitewash one of that because I didn't want to download it. This right here is an original picture. And you can pull the image ID and everything. And the other one that's whitewashed, there's no image ID. It's just the page, whatever the PP, I forget what it is. This is the Virginia. See, that's the ID down there. This is Virginia. Virginia. What tribe? I could tell you, I could care less what tribe. Okay. And then here's another real picture. And some people will say, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. And this is, you know what that is? Y'all know what that picture is? Now, some people saying, well, Alamy's taking pictures that the Moors, no. There's Moors, what Moors tag their stuff. And even though they're putting them up, they already have rebuttals under them. So for those of you Google masters, know this. Now, this is the actual painting I saw overseas by the Empire Winger, okay? First dispute between Christopher Columbus and the American Indian over the empire. Now, this was before, this is when they were pushing white supremacy, but in the early onslaught. So Columbus, this is not the real picture of Christopher Columbus. But this is American Indian because this is a real painting. Now, as far as, and that's why I said it's important to study people like George Orwell and Mark Twain, all his official writings, and a slew of other individuals that you've seen play cowboys and stuff like that, to which weren't. It's an original picture. But that is not Crystal Colon. They had to rewrite the narrative, and so the first thing they changed was Mr. Colon. When he came here not as an enemy, but as a friend. Y'all need to know this, okay? An emblem of America. The ideology based upon the Statue of Liberty, yes. This is a mulatto, but they say more French and indigenous, but not a Mongol. Because I'm going to show you her standing there and the engines behind her. And even in the eagle of Tartary still in the flag, to which was rewritten to create a false narrative. Now, some of you may have seen these, but how many of y'all know the true history? And this is a very real picture right here, which I saw in Holland. I remember thinking they was in Africa, because I didn't see the little golden tag up under the, what you call it? I was like, I never read it. There was a whole bunch of people standing around. They looking at me and they looking at the picture, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know, clean shaven, 200, 185, 90 pounds, I think at that time, just ripping, you know. I didn't even know it. Real picture, y'all. And I'm gonna show you something, and nobody ever pays attention to, and I'm gonna expand it. I want you to see the little curly-haired, pale-skinned, pale baby next to what could be interpreted as a monkey. If you don't know what you're looking at in a picture, then it becomes a narrative, and then you say, well, those pale-skinned women. I told you we had our own pale-skinned people, y'all. How many did y'all research the lynching of many pale-skins, regardless of the narrative painted by the Ashkenazi? See, they were historians as well. So if you get rid of the old world history, you can indoctrinate and create a new order or new world history. And here, in this picture, these are not Mongolians or Mongols. You know what picture that is? What it's based upon? The usurpers of French and English were one and the same as the Dutch. Do y'all know that? No beer sold to Indians with Mr. Goofy ass president up on the wall behind you. So what does that allude to, people? What do you inherit? Their inferiority problem, complexed by their lie of history, and the fact that we didn't do it. The fact that we and them were in schools together, in boarding schools, which they're dismissive to, because of the latter portion and the fact they're still going to those goddamn boarding schools. Excuse my language. Who's putting messages in? Hey, Mr. C, what's going on, beloved? Hey, Gray Wolf. Much love, respect, Mikey, Rondo. Okay, so I want to get a little reading. We're not going to do heavy reading because unlike last night where I was really teed and I wanted to reach out, a lot of y'all see y'all didn't share it. Only a few of you did. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. I really don't know what's your issue. This is for you. You scared? Anyway, I'm going to read today because I'm in that good spirit. I got good, healthy food prepared. I've got the rest of my bison, which I'm going to eat. I'm going to finish it off. I cleaned out my freezer and had like a whole 2 packs of Wagyu Japanese beef and 2 things of bison and some other stuff, some hot Louisiana. And when I say hot, I'm talking about like Carolina Reaper, Chipotle, Ghost Pepper Reaper sausages. Them motherfuckers right there, you got to put some mustard, some ketchup, some coleslaw on. Don't put no onions. 2 bites, and I guarantee you'll be walking around like this. Me, because I put Carolina Reaper hot sauce on everything. But everybody that's taking a bite of them sausages I cook, when I make them little sausage subs with the French biscuit, because they don't have no soy and all like that, and all the canola oil and crap, they're like, but it's so good. I'm like, I know, isn't it? So I'm gonna hook those last 4 up in the next couple of days, unless somebody comes by and I'm feed it to them, because I really want to stick with fruits and vegetables. And I'm going to do videos showing you how I prep some of those things with curries and seasonings and all that kind of stuff. Anywho, get another bite. Shit, so good. My God. Anyway, let's go ahead and pull this back up. Let's get into the. That's so good. Damn. Hang on, y'all. What is this lock on my tablet? So it's an update where y'all done messed around in my shit. Idiots. All right, this PDS will load back up. I went out, so it's gonna load back up, guys. All right. Samuel Poe. Let's go down to 2. Okay, here we go. Bullet points. Okay. Another thing. And I say this for practical reasons. If you don't have it in you, y'all have to learn how to love again. I say that because the love you have or you had is not real. It's not authentic. It's not pure. It's not steeped in order. Remember the little exercise with saying a certain word in your head? Then I was alluding to the fact that we believe this is communique. Well, if you start actually loving yourself and being responsible to yourself, the way you so-called put it out, well, that's the reason why you're broken, fucked up now. Excuse my French, messed up now. It's because you don't know what love is. Because you don't know how to love yourself or respect yourself. Everything is based upon a perversion. Like when you say love, everybody, the first thing come in your head is you watch porn, you see nuts and slapping a woman's taint area, having sex. That's not love. That's for the sole purpose of procreation, and the perversion was put on us when it should have never been put on us. It's nobody's business. Okay? So, love has nothing to do with any of that. Those are, as you say, symptoms from love, but not love as it's actually meant to be. Those things are natural. Love is the embodiment of a higher self. Love has been taken out of its context and made to be something else. I just love my grandbabies. No, now you're going to break them. We're not here to love. The fact that they're here is love itself. Love doesn't need an explanation. It doesn't have an expiration. And it doesn't need for you to make a proclamation. They are here and you are here because of the effect of love. It does not need an explanation. So you must learn again what love truly is. For somewhere after 2 weeks, you forgot when you came into this realm. And in order to do that, you must accept not the things you have done bad or where you are right now, but accept the responsibility that you have taken on to better yourself. All right. Look, I got a whole 2 halves. I got 2 whole 8 slices like this. And I ate 2. So I got 6 more to eat. Oh my God. My pants. I got, these are Old Navies, right? These are 36, 30, 31s. Dude, I get back down. I can slide into them. They're a little tight around the waist, but the 34s, man, it's on the cracker. Anywho, let's go ahead and get into this. The Algonquin conquest of the Mediterranean, or Europe. So, turn this down. Excuse me, guys. My apologies again. Page 273. Now, the real truth concerning exactly how advanced the Atlanteans were, plus or minus 11,500 years ago, we know it's way back because I was on it yesterday, so you know that. The island mentioned in the story of Atlantis, which was in front of the Straits of Gibraltar, you know, they tore a very big statue down in the early parts of a couple centuries ago, is, of course, North America. Listen to this. Atlantis, which was in front of the Straits of Gibraltar, is, of course, North America, which is a good 3,000 miles from the Straits of Gibraltar. To sail 3,000 miles during those ancient times is more than just remarkable. In fact, we might consider it very hard to believe. Yet I believe the Atlanteans of 11,500 years ago were so confident and experts at sailing that they had no second thoughts about sailing all the Earth's oceans. Of course not. That is what leads me to believe those certain authors who believe the Atlantean people civilized the Earth and were very advanced in other technological fields are absolutely correct. And we know, as people have been actually paying attention, and friends who I serve with in the military says, I thought you was crazy when you said y'all visited Spain. We went to everywhere. And before our fall, the people were called the top people because they were looking for them. They gave them a label. And the last known place that they visited was the Anuans, and they handed off fighting scrolls. Well, they showed them how to build buildings with dowels, without nails, iron, and none of that. You still have buildings standing from way back when they were conquered that have been standing millennia. They have no nails. They move and sway with the earthquakes. The top people were very boisterous, strong, very dark, melanated people, to which they made pictures and stuff and masks like they were the gods. From here, Atlantis, if you want to call it, handed out in all the lands of Europe, so-called Japan, the She people of China, South America. They traveled on these great ships, hundreds on it. They knew they would have to fight too, and handed these things out, which later on became in all the places, which later became the so-called fighting martial arts styles, even over to those who had fell and ended up in the place they call Lower Ethiopia, Africa. So that's why they removed that information from Google, Wikipedia, and everywhere. The moment I've been telling people this, and everybody had a hard time with it, even in my 20s. So yes, we had visited Columbus in Spain. We had visited in France. The history is still known everywhere. Before certain things were burnt and memory was put in the back, and a slumber ensued. Now, let me go on. My apologies for such a long intervention. That's what I'll say. I'm not going to say interceding because it's me talking. I had to intervene to explain something. That people civilized the earth and were very advanced in other technological fields are absolutely correct. As for those people who believe the Atlantean civilization was so advanced that they knew of the inventions of our modern time, such as electricity, the camera, and medicines, or even that the Atlanteans were more advanced technologically than we of the present time are. Facts. That is another question that is easier to answer. To me, it is not true that the Atlantean civilization advanced to a higher level than the American and British civilization that currently dominates our Earth. Lie. It is possible that the Atlantean civilization, so this is suggestive, so he doesn't know. I'm telling you they were. Atlantean civilization may have been more advanced than the American and British civilization of the present time. And as a result of the Great Flood that destroyed, okay, good, he said that. British civilization that currently dominates our Earth. It is possible that the Atlantean civilization may have been more advanced than American and British civilization, of the present time. And as a result of the Great Flood that destroyed Atlantis, it was worse than that, their knowledge of their technology was lost. Yet I wouldn't bet on it. The magnitude of that flood was so great that it destroyed all of Atlantis, which, of course, was located in northeastern North America. And we know that catastrophes, such as the catastrophe which destroyed Atlantis, kill a great many people, and the likelihood that the Atlantean survivors who were educated with the knowledge of that technology of the civilization survived to keep that technology alive would have indeed been very slim. Now, Egyptian hieroglyphics may have mentioned the existence of Atlantis. Now, it's funny how they don't say about the She hieroglyphs or other hieroglyphs, which the information is everywhere. Olmec, Mayan, to which they even know that they had to subscribe to what was there and utilize. Anywho, as they grew older, they become dumber. Okay? Egyptian hieroglyphics may have mentioned the existence of Atlantis, which I believe they do, and I admit that because it is clearly mentioned in the Atlantis story and their advanced civilization of 11,500 years ago, and if so, there may be people able to read those Egyptian hieroglyphics alive. So that he just alluded to that nobody's actually broke them hieroglyphics. Today, who knows those Egyptians hieroglyphics not only mention the ancient Atlanteans, but they also know those hieroglyphics describe their civilizations in greater detail. But they are unwilling for some reason to come out in the open about this very sensitive subject. Because it's not about deciphering. It's about the fact that the whole world is known. And it's been hidden away. Man, I'm at home. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I wish I could give some of y'all. Oh, so good. Obviously, we're going to read this paragraph and then move on. Obviously, there is no denying that the Egyptians knew of the Atlanteans and their civilization because we learned about Atlantis from the Egyptian people. And also because the Egyptians, which is a lie, Egyptian people are descended from the Atlanteans. If the Egyptians recorded in great detail the civilization of the Atlanteans and their many inventions and ideas, there are still there in Egypt on the monuments of that ancient land. Unless the European of 200 years ago destroyed that evidence to cover up historical information that the Europeans of 200 years ago did not want to know. We'll go back further than that before they made a decision to start doing that. Let me go ahead and mark this. Okay. Excellent. Let's slide that down to there. We're going to go with red. Yeah. Oh, shit. Excuse my language, y'all. Apologies, again. There we go. Excellent. Okay. All right. Let's scroll all the way back. And I think, yeah, let's make sure I wasn't too far from it. Like we could get rid of this one too. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. I'm getting rid of the old markings. My apologies. Again. Okay. 84. Let's go all the way. Let's get you out of here. Good. There we go. I like this. I can just look at the side numbers and bada boom, bada bang. The great. And see what I did? Now we go to the great floods. Working backwards, right? And there it is. Oh, that is so easy. That's so much easier like that. Okay. Samuel Poe, the great floods. I also believe there are other locations besides Egypt that conceal important historical information about the Atlantean people and their civilization, like the Lioness Vatican, the Smithsonian, and a few other places. And just maybe historical records of the and France as well. The terrible destruction of the island of Atlantis. Some of those locations are in Southern Europe, especially Italy, particularly the Pompeii region. which I believe conceals underneath it future discoveries waiting to happen. No, they already have all of it, they know, of every ancient Atlantean settlements. Now, the islands of the Mediterranean Sea may also conceal important historical records of the ancient Atlantean civilization, as well as the homeland of the Greek people, the original Greek or Negroes. Excuse me, what was that? Hey, snoo, Etta. Hey, what's going on, beloveds? Okay, listen to this. Especially Italy, particularly the Pompeii region, and all those people you see solidified, ash and all that, Negroes. They've already proved it. Skulls, this, that, and other. They did the whole thing, and it was like, I forget how many people have died that worked there from Sweden and Denmark and all them places. So many in France, archaeologists and excavators and all that. And now the people sitting there didn't even dig who are telling the story, which is not comparative to the true story. Excuse me. Future discoveries waiting to happen of very ancient Atlantean settlements. Now, the islands of the Mediterranean Sea may also conceal important historical records of the ancient Atlantean civilization, as well as the homeland of the Greek people. In Greece, northern Africa, west of Egypt, and we know that I prefer to call that Nubia, okay? Especially the Sahara Desert region, may conceal underneath its historical records of the destruction of the island of Atlantis as well. Now, North America and South America may hold historical records of Atlantis, which is all over the place, and the catastrophe that destroyed Atlantis as well. And Egypt, of course, escaped the destruction that destroyed Atlantis and the many Atlantean colonies that surrounded the Mediterranean Sea. And people don't get how large it was. See, we have this ideology that we think we know how large the Atlantic Ocean is. When I keep telling people, when I was stationed in Florida, we used to get brothers coming from Africa that were on these made up crappy boats, like with 75, 100 strong. They got there in 5 days. They stopped putting it up on the media because when we go sell, they have us sailing around these big ships in circles, and we think it's nothing but ocean. There are islands out there that you have never seen. They're not on maps because of what they're doing. When I learned how to fly a Cessna when I was in my 20s, we used to have these places where you could not fly. As when you're single, going up for your single flights. And so I used to go up every once in a while, get the doc, get my boy Cessna, go out there, do my walk around, all the system checks, this, that, and other, and take them up. And I'd take her up, and I would fly. It was always straight. It was none of this, unless depending on wind, fluctuation, weather, and depending on, and I was always lower. So I was not flying at 10, 11,000 feet. I was not flying with commercial jets, and with any airport that was there, I was always out the loop. But when I would go over the water, there were places I was not permitted or allowed to go. It wasn't about fuel. It was just I was not allowed. Well, you round earth idiots and all this other stuff. I'm sorry for calling your name. But none of them seem to be able to debate me. So, anywho, let's go on back to this. Too much salt. Of course, this escaped the destruction of Atlantis and many Atlantean colonies that surrounded the Mediterranean Sea. And from the land story that we know that blah, blah, blah. Now, Egyptians believe they escaped the Great Flood because of the Great River, the Nile. That's got to remember who people were writing this, so we don't have to attack it. Okay, let's just keep moving. Which is the longest river in the world. And the reason that the Egyptian civilizations flourished as it did, Egypt was a period all around. Atlantis was long before Egypt even existed. Egypt is based on conquer. Listen to me again. Atlantis and Egypt, two separate time periods. Atlantis would be like Genesis 1, the origin. Okay. And though they say with this 11,500 years, you need to go back way farther than that. Way. I don't care what you think. And watch this. People are going to start talking and saying hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years ago. You ain't going to believe me. I don't care. When I was telling people that the water level today, comparative to 6 millennia ago, is 400 feet higher, people says, James, you're crazy. I was like, look, first of all, There are lands all around and islands everywhere. Didn't they just get honest about 70 off the coast of Japan? How about Easter Island? The fact that British had in their ship manifest that they were island hopping to get to Easter Island. But when you see an Easter Island, you don't see no islands. Don't shoot the messenger. Do the research. I always tell y'all to do the research. Don't believe me. Don't take my word for it. All right. One of the few mentioned events besides that of Atlantis in the Atlantis legend that stands out from others is the Egyptians' apparent climate records of those times. I know that there are people who may, as I do, see in the Atlantis story records of the climate conditions of the time that Atlantis existed, although I can't claim that my theory concerning probable ancient climate records, which are largely linked to the stream from heaven, are correct, which it may be. It's Egypt's ancient age that may be all that's necessary to find it reliable. And what is it? A very warm, tender climate. The clouds you see today were not around like that. These clouds are not clouds, people. This is manipulated. This is created. The clouds that you should be seeing should have lights dancing and then be a mist themselves. If you go back, you can actually see these, the way the clouds used to look, actually. What was the name of that movie? A movie from 1930. Anyway, you look up at the sky, and the clouds, no cloud. It's like these little dancing myths of like vapor. That is how the sky looked before all this light noise, pollution that's not from the ether, and this man-made crap in every state. I don't know how many of them are. They've got them pouring out this chemical cloud everywhere. And then they have aircraft seeding for certain things besides the aerosol spray y'all call chemtrails. That's the complete act after it's done. The operation is called aerosol spraying. Okay. I'm gonna have to keep doing that, y'all. Anyway. See, in the Atlantis story records of the climate conditions at the time Atlantis existed. So y'all see that. But now I believe the Egyptians have known civilized life for as long as 10,000 years, way longer than that, or even longer. The Egyptian people, as is mentioned in the Atlantis story, have experienced more than only one destruction. I keep telling people that. Yet exactly what did the Egyptian mean by stream from heaven? Or what exactly does stream from heaven represent? First of all, what is really heaven? Right? Let me put this over here. They need y'all to believe in some bull crap all the time, because if you knew the truth, then they couldn't continue to do the dumb stuff they're doing. Excellent. I think it was, yeah. I had somebody hit me up, said, how do you know how to find those out of all them hundreds of pictures? It's not about that. When you read, you read. And if you read one book and there's 100 books and you haven't even started reading a quarter of those books, then why should you be teaching or talking about or expressing or explaining anything? If you're going to read one book and then that's your dissertation, take it to college and let me see how you do with that. Stand up there and start talking. You're going to have a kid probably about 17, 16 years old who's in college because they're smart and go, what are you talking about? We have a lot of people. They get a little bit of information and they run with it. Then you have people who mismanage information with the purpose of keeping people in chaotic dispels. Whenever I read something, I make sure that I've read at least 25 other sources of information. Most of the time, because of me, I've read books, tons of them. And I don't forget, and I'm able to correlate and put things together. So when I read a PDF I've had since 2008, 17, I actually had it before that. This is college. I'm transferring it from my Google Plus to this tab forward, which I got about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I think. Transferring it to here was something I had to do. And so I had already read it. So I knew that information I can go backwards to forward in the book and still explain. If you was reading forward to back, you would be more confused because of where you go to, it looks like you're going backwards. So reading from back to front, you see what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and get into this right here. Excuse me. Now, this is Northern Africa. Nubia. I hate that word Africa. I gotta get another bite out. This is so good. I hope I ain't allergic to it. My throat's itching. Oh my God. All right. That is so fucking good. All right, let's get it. Hope you remember what we wore yesterday. If not, this video yesterday, you can go and check it out. Now, by the time Rome got brave enough to take on the full might of the mighty Carthaginians, they discovered that they had some Numidian sympathizers in Nubia. And that would be North Africa for those who don't know. Nubia. Rome also discovered that, who saw the pictures I shared about Rome? They tried to say one legion and they killed them. That was the betrayal and the takeover to a fictional Rome. All of Rome, just like Greece, were melanated people. Don't care if you don't believe me. The first segregation are the people you see in Africa, or Nubia, from so-called Europe, betrayed by their own. Anyway, let's go ahead. Rome also discovered at the same time that they had Iberian sympathizers in the Carthaginians' Western European colonies. Now, of course, what that represents is evidence of an relaxed Carthaginian attitude toward those Nubian and European kingdoms that they subjugated 9,000 years earlier. That simply means that the Carthaginians were not the kind of subjugators who were looking out for number one. Although the Carthaginians did subjugate North Nubia's civilized kingdoms, that certainly doesn't mean all of those North Nubian civilized kingdoms were conquered by the invading Carthaginians. Now, to the west of the Numidians' lands were the Atlas Mountains in both Algeria and Morocco, which were definitely an obstacle to those invading Carthaginians, who probably attempted to subjugate either an unknown Moroccan kingdom or an unknown Western Algerian kingdom, but were possibly unsuccessful as a result of those Atlas Mountains. Have y'all ever seen the Atlas Mountains? Majestic. Which probably prevented the Carthaginians, a lot of history there too, Carthaginians from conquering, prevented the Carthaginians from conquering some of those ancient kingdoms. Now, if there existed unknown North Nubian civilized kingdoms of both Algeria and Morocco, their citizens very likely fled into those Algerian and Moroccan Atlas Mountains. Now, to escape the Carthaginians' subjugation over them, mind you, and their descendants may have been those Numidians who sympathized with the Romans, of course. Now, the exact same may have occurred in the Carthaginians' Iberian colonies. So what is this stating? First of all, clearly racism didn't exist, and obviously they knew who they were because they looked alike. Don't get it twisted thinking, oh, they were pale against Roman. Oh, that's the whitewashing of history. The lie. For those of you who haven't been to Europe to see the old pictures and statues, all up on the walls, the mountain, all in the Tartary buildings and everything. You can't even hide from it. Anyway, for those with eyes who can see. Anyway. Now, of course, the exact same may have occurred in the Carthaginians' Iberian colonies, which included Iberian colonies, which included France, Portugal, and Spain. Now, Roman intelligence probably actively sought out Iberian sympathizers living in the French and Spanish mountains, and even probably among those who lived throughout France, and were possibly subjugated by the Carthaginians. Now, what made the Roman Empire so wealthy and great was the Roman defeat of Carthage. In the several wars, the two people fought against one another. Now, the Empire of Carthage, the Roman absorbed. Listen, the Empire of Carthage, the Roman absorbed, included most of the northern Nubia as well as France, and Portugal and Spain. Now, see, what we believe as far as Nubia, what Negroes there was pale skins. And here we talking about France, Morocco, the Iberian, the mountains. Come on, people. Took them in. Wouldn't that be around the time when a certain group of people killed Jesus? Yeshua? I'm just giving you a time frame. That's why it's important to read Arthur Koestler's The 13th Tribe. Okay, all right, let's carry on. The Empire of Carthage, the Romans absorbed, included most of northern Nubia, as well as France, Portugal, and Spain in Europe. Now, in parentheses, it states, for all we know, England, Ireland, and Scotland as well. And when the Romans took into possession the entire land area of the Empire of Carthage, from that point on, the Roman Empire was undefeatable, until possibly the rise of the Huns. We know who they are, right? They had inserted themselves everywhere already, and they were slowly taking over with people who made meetings in the dark miles away. All right, so let's go on to the next part. Let me go ahead and mark this, because then we start getting into Western Nubia, and I don't want to ruin that. Okay, we start that, get rid of that. Bada boom, bada bang. That's good. Okay, here we go. Italy. Okay. It's going to read a small couple of paragraphs of this, because as we go up, we read smaller and smaller because there's so much and so less. At some location on the west coast of Italy, the first Atlantean colony in Italy was probably established. Now, in parentheses, it states, that includes both the first wave of Atlantean settlers and the last Atlantean settlers, who were probably the Carthaginians. So does that give you a little clarity? Okay. Yet, the Carthaginians may have first settled southern Italy. Yep, that's right. Just want to make sure. It's a rebate. It's reiterating what we had already cleared. Okay. Again. But were those the first Atlantean colonies of the coast of Italy, possibly military forts, or just simply villages, or a combination of both? Now, if any form of resistance against the invading Atlanteans existed during the establishments of those first Atlantean colonies in Italy, then those settlements were probably, no doubt, occupied by the soldiers of the Atlantean military. Now, obviously, when new settlements arose, they were located in close proximity to those Italian Atlantean military forces, which could quickly resolve any disputes which may have risen between the Atlantean settlers and any Aboriginal Italian people. Now, Italian Atlantean agriculture must have been very impressive, but definitely the kind of work people living in well-off countries now would not cherish doing Atlantean religious customs, into which were obviously infused with their agriculture customs, and probably was centered on superstition, and their religion may have, to some extent, been influenced by climate, which definitely can destroy civilized man's inner soul. Ain't no goddamn pale skin like that. That's why I always say, when you look at Sicily and Italy, Sicily, they couldn't conquer. And some of the offspread said, no, we're not having that here. What happened over there with the original people. Yeah. And you see, with agriculture, which is a big thing like us. All right? Remember that. Now, and superstition among the Atlanteans of those times did not only affect the everyday lives of those people when it came to agriculture operations. They say superstition religion. How about tilling the soil and maintaining and not falling behind and have to play catch up, instead of this superstitious nonsense and all this religious context or conjecture nonsense, excuse me. Anyway, people, when it came to agriculture operations, it probably led to the birth of religions which initiated human sacrifice. No, that is them Ashkenazi bastards from the first, third to the 6th century, and everywhere, because we're talking later on, combining and doing the dumb things, and they want you to believe in a BC. Stop with the BC stuff, people. Trust me. It may be possible that our ancestors' superstitions beliefs may have evolved into some of the mental illnesses experienced by modern day humans, like eating meat. Human. Now, I will be honest with you and admit that I believe superstition is in fact a common mental illness that must be classified as a mental illness. You're damn right it is. And also treated with psychotherapy. I'll get on to that part of it. Now, unfortunately, superstition will persist on in all humans until, thank goodness, we're not humans. We're man and woman. Until that day comes when humans learn of the origins of superstitious thinking and end it for good. Now, when the Carthaginians, that's a fact, when the Carthaginians entered Italy, and in parentheses it states the Carthaginians may not have colonized any of Italy for all we know, yet we have many splendid reasons to believe, they did, as you will learn later on. Now, and they as well had to deal with the first Italians. Now, for all we know, they may have been Algonquins. By using their pure military might against them, if the Carthaginians did initiate a colony in Italy, their descendants would actually be the Etruscans. What did I say? Under their control over the Etruscans being the descendants of the Carthaginians. Now, although I'd rather choose the Carthaginians conquering some Italian kingdom, in parentheses it states it may have been the Etruscans, and then later on were forced to abdicate Carthaginian rule by those first Italians, who used either peaceful means or used war to remove Carthaginian rule. And I am very suspicious about not only southern Italy, and that does include the island of Sicily, but other regions in Italy as well, being possibly colonized by the invading Carthaginians. That's why I say Moorish nonsense is exactly Moorish nonsense, and it is the real psyop, the lie, the perversion. Remember, I've been all over there, so I got to learn some real stuff too. Let's get this last part. It's only 2 paragraphs I'm going to read on this. Excuse me. Oh, for those who don't know, this is the Algonquin conquest of the Mediterranean region. They have 11,500 years ago. I'm telling you, it's longer than that. By Samuel Poe. Excellent read too. Okay, let's go and get page 9 here. There we go. We read quite a bit of this. That's why I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs here. Actually, very short, 2 paragraphs. Now, just so you know, this is Western Europe, okay? Now, yet the historical records indicate another entirely different scenario. The existence of human evolution, that's in parentheses, which can be taken to represent an European landscape with no human population then. Yet I have no choice but to assume the existence of an aboriginal people of Europe. Now, the white race is partially descended from. I love that. The region where the present countries of Portugal and Spain are located may have seen the first Atlantean settlers coming directly from England. And if the Algonquins settled England, that is to put forth their efforts at making the lands their productive for them. Now, and certainly that region of Western Europe must have filled the Atlantean leaders with thoughts of wealth to be gained, as well as, more importantly, they didn't think about no goddamn wealth back then. Anyway, thoughts of expanding their empire. And that is if they were utilizing modern terms here. I gotta let y'all know so that way you have growth. Okay? Expanding their empire, that is if they were united in their attempt to colonize, which I don't believe the first wave of Algonquins were. Of course not. Yet they may have been. Now, the Iberian tribes are likely these descendants. And when the Carthaginians conquered that same region, they were obviously just as impressed with that beautiful land as were the Iberians. Now, and even the much later arriving whites. who brought that same region under their control by using their military might by defeating both the Carthaginians and the Iberians. I'm going to stop at that because then it gets into the Ice Age and all that crap, and that is not what we're doing today. Okay. I hope y'all enjoyed that reading. Oh, it gets deeper, obviously. Let me go ahead and remove that bookmark and let's save this. Save file as text and PDF. Right into downloads, mother sucker. Save. And 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. I have to cast this quite a bit of information. And there we go. Now, let's go ahead and look at the file. Let's go back. Download, document, internal storage. Boom. I moved it to internal storage, people. Let me make sure. Because I didn't want it to be with all my other documents. It's hundreds of them, and it's just too much. Internal storage is free, many gigabytes. I think it's almost a terabyte. Excellent. So I'm using a star this time with a little red dot in it. So we're good. So I hope y'all appreciate. Hey, what's going on? Who's in there? Who's that? Snoo. You retract them. Grand elevations. I just want to see who else up in. Who all came up in here? Alicia. Hey, what's going on? How you doing, beloved? YouTube don't give me reminders. They know what they're really doing. Yeah. Did any of y'all do as I suggested last week? I believe it was. If I remember, if anybody remembers, I said, go up, unsubscribe, subscribe. Just unsubscribe. Make sure it's unsubscribe, subscribe, and re-hit the bell notification. And so when I come on here in about, I'm gonna finish eating a lot of watermelon. It's probably gonna send me to the bathroom, and then I'm gonna take my food out and get it in my preparatory bowls for today. So in about 2.5 hours, when I come back and I'm reading George Jones, Will Cooper, and I got to get the Terra Infinita, and then I have to read these because of where we're at right now. Okay, because this is going to get into some stuff. So this helps to keep us on a certain particular, whether it's fancy fiction or not, or fanciful or whatever. It's good for the mind. Okay, that's all I can say for that. All right, cool. So what was that? I hope you enjoyed that. I really do. And I appreciate you guys coming in. Is there anybody else that came in? My apologies if I didn't say everybody's name. I appreciate you guys. I really do. And I hope you enjoyed the reading. I really do. That's going to be a good read. That's every morning. Once I put my little 2 cents out there, every morning, we're going to go ahead, read that. I want to finish that whole thing in its entirety. Because after these pages right here, then you think that I'm going to keep on. No, I have to go further back. And then every time further back, and then it'll catch, you'll see. You'll see what I'm doing. Nobody else is doing this, trust me. I'm not doing this because I just know nobody else is doing it. Because I used to talk to people and say, how you reading that book, Red? I'm reading it from back to front. And I'm like, why? Well, I already read it front to back. And it makes more sense back to front. And so I would let them know, and they're like, dude. I'm like, yeah, they say some people speak, and if you play it backwards, they're saying something that's probably steeped in a truth that you didn't know because you have bitten into the fake cornerstone of the world we live in instead of allowing yourself to see it for what it actually is. So, hope y'all enjoyed that. Appreciate y'all taking the time. We broke the hour mark again. I'm going to finish this freaking watermelon. It's so freaking delicious. And y'all have a grand day. And I'll see y'all in roughly about 3 hours. All right? Love and respect. Snow, you wasn't pulling up nothing. I guess the reading was decent, huh? I figure you've been like, pulling up around. Let me get this information. Love anyway. And 2 and 1. I'll see y'all in about 3 hours.